When the king who saved Europe personally led the largest cavalry charge in history against 150,000 invading troops, he said, "We came, we saw God conquer." When he was born, legends say a white eagle flew over his head, and at the same moment 1,000 miles away, lightning struck the great blue mosque of Istanbul. When he was just 9, he fought a brown bear on horseback and ran it through with his spear. And by the time he was a teen, he'd graduated in philosophy, mastered 5 languages, become an unparalleled horseman, and was an expert in the saber. When he traveled to Paris, he joined the elite King's Musketeers, and was heavily courted by the French ladies. But when Poland was invaded by nomadic horsemen from the steppes, the young noble returned home, raised his own army, and drove the enemy from the field. Spending the next decades fighting Cossacks, Tatars, Ottomans, Swedes, Russians, and more, he rose to become the commander-in-chief of the Polish army, often defeating his enemies despite being outnumbered 2 to 1. When he fell in love with a beautiful French lady-in-waiting, he wrote her love letters until she married him, and she'd go on to bear him 13 children. But when Polish nobles told him he'd have to leave his foreign wife if he ever wanted to be named king, he told them that if that were the case, he didn't want the throne, and they went on to name him king nonetheless. When the Ottomans descended upon the city of Vienna in the summer of 1683, the mighty city of the Holy Roman Empire was about to fall, and all of Western Europe would lay open to the invaders. And so, as their last hope, the people called upon the Christian king of Poland for aid. Rushing to their relief, the king put himself at the head of the most fearsome cavalry force of his day, heavy shock troops known as the Winged Hussars for the large wings they wore on their backs. When the king's 20,000 horsemen emerged from the forest above the city and charged down the hill, the winged men struck terror into the enemy lines, but appeared to those in the city as angels. And the deeds they would do that day became the inspiration for the ride of the Rohirrim in The Lord of the Rings. For in just under 3 hours, they utterly swept the enemy from the field, and the remaining Ottoman forces fled in disarray. After the battle, the Ottoman Empire would never again conquer so far west, and the Pope gave the king the title, the Defender of the Faith. When you're the warrior king of Poland, they don't just call you the savior of Europe. They call you Jan Sobieski.